Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. The VBA, which is the Veterans Benefits Administration. Remember, the VA is a three-headed monster. Benefits Administration, the VHA, the Healthcare Administration, and then the National Cemeteries Administration. So the VBA, this is where all of our benefits like compensation, education, home loan, all that stuff live under this roof. So VBA steps up veteran outreach to complete 300,000 pending PACT Act benefits claims. Keyword pending. Key number 300,000. So they are stepping up veteran outreach to complete 300,000 pending PACT Act benefits claims. So I'm curious, want to jump into this. This is on the Federal News Network, and I wanted to share with you. This just came out May 23rd, 2024. So I wanted to share it with you today. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really do appreciate all of the support. It helps to get this word out there and open up the window a little bit and get some light in, right? I'm tired of being in the dark with all the different things that are going on within our world. All right. So with that, let's jump into it. The VA recently approved its millionth disability claim under the historic expansion of benefits, but it's stepping up efforts to get more claims in. Okay. What's funny to me, though, is that, you know, they got the, on the healthcare side, the 10,000 workers that are disappearing. All right, whatever. So let's move on. The Department of Veterans Affairs recently approved its millionth disability claim under the expansion of the PACT Act stuff. Under the PACT Act, veterans and their survivors had until August 14th, if you remember, we did videos on that back then, until August 14th, 2023 to submit a claim or an intent to file a claim and be eligible to have their benefits backdated 1 year to August 10th, 2022. Now, this is essentially an intent to file date because what happened is when the president signed it into law, then the VA said, okay, well, from that date until 1 year, anybody who files will have that as the originating effective date. Anybody after that, it's going to be whatever date you filed your intent to file or claim after that. So, again, if you filed an intent to file or your claim prior to August 14th, 2023, you would be backdated to August 10th, 2022, the day that the president signed that into law. The PACT Act expands VA health care and benefits eligibility for veterans exposed to toxic substances during their military service. The intent to file gives veterans more time to prepare and collect supporting evidence while allowing for the earliest potential effective date for any benefits resulting from their claims. Moving on, it states here, an intent to file gives veterans up to 1 year, that's correct, 12 months, from the date the VA received their intent to file to submit a formal claim. So, in other words, if you file your claim within the 12 months, then your intent to file date becomes your effective date. If you do not file a claim within 12 months, and you file it on month 13th, well, your intent to file has now expired because it's good for 12 months, and now the date of your claim becomes your actual effective date. Now, there is some nuance around that, like everything else, so just in case somebody's out there wondering, sometimes, even if you have an earlier effective date in place, you might, a law or rule may have went into effect after that. Maybe it's for an increase or something like that, and so you would have a different date, or maybe you were never diagnosed for something until here, even though your intent to file was here. So they can't go back in time and all the time, right? So sometimes they're going to give you a different effective date, so you'll need to figure out why. So anyway, jumping back into this. Now the Veterans Benefits Administration is following up with veterans who submitted an ITF, that's intent to file, but haven't completed a claim. So that's really important because sometimes people jump up, they throw in their intent to file, but then they don't file a claim. So, call to action, if you filed an intent to file during that window for PACT Act claims to get that earlier effective date, you need to see when your intent to file expires. If you lost the paperwork, call the VA. Call them at their toll-free 1000 number. Call them and ask them, you know, hey, I'm veteran so-and-so. You know, I think I put in an intent to file. Can you verify for me that I have an intent to file in place? When does it expire? And then at that point, what you must do is file a claim prior to the expiration of that intent to file. Super important. And here's my suggestion. Even if your claim was a back burner idea and you do not have all of your evidence now to file, but you are on the verge of losing your intent to file a claim anyway with whatever evidence you have, even if you know the VA will deny you. File with whatever you have for whatever conditions you're going to file for. Let the VA deny what they're going to deny. Then once you get that denial from them in 8 months or whatever, then what you could do is file a supplemental claim with additional evidence. So keep working on gathering evidence. Wait for the VA to deny you if they are, then do the supplemental claim with additional evidence to preserve your intent to file date. All right, so let's jump back into this. So the VA should be reaching out to folks who submitted an intent to file, but they have not completed a claim yet. Undersecretary for Benefits Joshua Jacobs told reporters Wednesday that the VBA received almost 840,000 intent to files between June and mid-August last year. Of those applications, the agency received claims for just about 450,000 of them. So you can see there's a deficit. After weeding out duplicate, incomplete, or canceled intent to files, VBA estimates that veterans and survivors did not file a claim yet for about 300,000 active intent to files. So, again, very, very important number the VA is looking at here. As we're doing this outreach, we're not only going to work to connect with these 300,000 veterans, but we're going to have to learn from this process so that we move forward and continue to proactively engage veterans who have submitted an intent to file. We can do so with a better understanding of what's getting in their way so we can overcome it, Jacobs said. So here's the thing, right? For those of you, again, that filed an intent to file or think you did, whether you are a veteran or a survivor, because survivors can file intent to files for their dependency indemnity compensation or their survivor's pension. So you must file your claim so you can recoup that back pay. Otherwise, if it expires, you're going to lose out on a tremendous amount of back pay. Call the VA at their 800 with their 1000 toll-free number and ask them when it expires. VA plans to follow up with veterans and survivors with a pending ITF through phone calls, text messages, and emails. It's also working with veterans service organizations to help get the word out. What we've learned is that we need to engage from multiple channels to ensure that we're doing everything we can to increase awareness, Jacobs said. The president announced Tuesday this week that the VA just approved more than 1 million claims for disability benefits under the PACT Act. The PACT Act is the largest expansion of VA services in more than 30 years, and the VA has paid out nearly $6 billion in PACT Act benefits so far. That energizes people, but it's also a reminder that there's a lot more work to do, Jacobs said. One of my main takeaways is we have to keep our foot on the gas, continue doing everything we can to connect more vets with more survivors with their own benefits. Yes, it's going to mean an increased number of claims, but that's what drives us. We all wake up coming to work because we want to serve veterans, he added. VBA, the Veterans Benefits Administration, saw a 40% increase in claims submitted last year compared to the prior year. To keep up with the demand, VBA grew its workforce by 20% to a 32,000 employee workforce in fiscal year 2023 and plans to grow its workforce to 36,000 employees by the end of fiscal year 2024. Our ability to deliver more benefits to more veterans than any other time in history is part due to our massive hiring surge. VBA plans to keep expanding its workforce this year, even as Veterans Health Administration is reining it in its own hiring goals. That's that 10,000 I mentioned earlier. which is I don't really get it, but whatever. So VHA, again, reining in its own hiring goals after seeing record growth last year. More than half of VBA workforce is veterans. Wow, that's a big number. Didn't realize that it was actually more than 50%. So more than 50% of the Veterans Benefits Administration workforce is veterans. Everyone who comes to work here at VBA is a veteran advocate, and so we work every day to try to get to yes. But for so long, we've been unable to care for the millions of veterans who were exposed to Agent Orange or burn pits and suffered with a variety of conditions. And so for the first time ever, we've been able to care for them, Jacob said. VBA is rolling out more automation tools to ensure it can keep up with its growing workload. We're also working very hard on the back end to automate the process to allow computers to do what they do best and humans to do what they do best, what they are designed to do in terms of decision making, so we can provide more timely, accurate, and equitable decisions. VBA processed 1.98 million disability benefits claims from veterans and their survivors, a nearly 16% increase from the year prior. VBA issued $163 billion in total benefits in fiscal year 2023. The agency, however, expects to see another record-breaking number of claims processed this year. Now, remember that if you're not at 100% and you have that intent to file in now, especially if it's dated back to the PACT Act timeframes and that substantial amount of money, moving from a 70 to an 80, 90, or even to 100% is substantial and will result in a big back pay check. Remember that a veteran with a spouse and a dependent at 100% is $4,100 approximately per month of tax-free money. So it's important to make sure that you are staying on top of this. Next quotation here: the claims process is confusing. It's complicated, and we're doing everything we can to streamline it so that in addition to providing timely, accurate, and equitable claims decisions, we're doing so with world-class experience. So a lot more work to do. So there's a lot more work to do in this area, Jacob said. And so with that concludes it. The big piece here is that you need to preserve your effective date if you have an intent to file that has been placed during that PACT Act eligibility time frame for the additional back pay. Remember that, I'm going to read that one sentence again. Veterans and their survivors had until August 14th, 2023. So if you filed an intent to file between August 10th, 2022 and August 14th, 2023, which I guess is really now the end of May would be the latest intent to file. So the end of May 2023 to August 2023, an intent to file in place, you're actually preserving a PACT Act claim pushing back to August 10th, 2022. So call the VA, ask them if you have an intent to file in place, and ask them when it expires. That's the food for thought there, and what you need to do, the call to action, I guess, if you will. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.